Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing another rugby video this evening. There's been a bit of news recently. We've had the confirmed squad of the South African team for the British and Irish Lions tour, so I'm just going to delve straight into that to see what we've got from the new coach. So just to recap for everyone who's been following this, so Rassie Erasmus has stepped up into a more of an advisory role with the Springboks, more of like a director of rugby role for the team for the Lion series, and one of his assistant coaches, Jack Nienebauer. I think is it Jack Nienebauer? He's been pretty much been the coach since they won the World Cup, but unfortunately they had to pull out of the Rugby Championship, and there was no autumn internationals either. So COVID has hit South Africa pretty bad. So they've played no rugby at all before the Lion series. Hence why they've got a couple of fixtures coming up. They've got 3 warm-up fixtures before they're actually going to be going into the Lions Test series then. So they've picked quite a big squad for the Lions series, just so they can have a little look at everybody. They've brought in some old faces, but also they've got, I think it was 8 uncapped players in the 46-man squad, and some of them are quite tasty to say the least. So there's quite a few that we are familiar with in Britain. I'll go through the actual squad first of all, just so you can see what is coming up for the Springboks. So, as I said in my last video with the Summer Rugby, we've got the Springboks lined up against 2 test series with Georgia on successive Fridays in July. So you've got the 2nd of July followed by the 9th of July, and then the South African A team will comprise members of the squad will play the Lions on the 14th of July, which is the 10 days before the start of the first test. So, you know, everybody will probably have a good go at the Lions anyways in that 46-man squad. They may well whittle it down later on, but for now I think they're casting their net pretty wide just so they can have a look at everybody. But let's have a look through the squad, and there's a couple of players definitely stand out that we're really looking forward to seeing. So let's have a little look. It's a massive squad. So just to run through it, you've got props: Thomas du Toit, Stephen Kitsoff, Vincent Koch, Frans Malherbe, Oxenche, Trevor Nkanye, Koen Oosterhuizen. They're the props. They're probably going to go with what they know, following on from the World Cup there. So you're probably talking somebody dynamic like Stephen Kitsoff. Frans Malherbe has been pretty good as well. But I do like Trevor Nkanye and Vincent Koch, because he's been doing it with Saracens for quite a few years now. So but what I'm really looking forward to seeing is the competition for hooker, which is unbelievable really. So you've got one of my favourite players from the World Cup was Bongo Mbonambi. He was absolutely superb in the World Cup. Carried hard, tackled hard. He was absolutely amazing. And then you've got Malcolm Marx, which everybody was raving about 2 or 3 years ago. When South Africa went through that really bad spell from 2017 to, well, I think it's 2016 really, to 2018. He was by far and away the standout player, but he's been playing over in Japan recently, so we'll see what sort of shape he's been in. But one of the ones I'm really looking forward to seeing, he made a massive impact in the Challenge Cup this year, was Joseph Dweba. He's really come off the bench really in the majority of the games I've seen him play, but when they played against Bristol, Bordeaux, his team in France, he was absolutely amazing. Really dynamic, hard ball carrier, scores tries, you know, so he's got the lot really. Second rows, the picks up there, so you've got pretty much the tallest of the tall. Lou Diaga, Eben Etzebeth, Franco Mostert, RG Snyman. Now Snyman hasn't actually played a lot of rugby. He's had a couple of really bad injury setbacks since he joined Munster, but hopefully he will be fit. You're one of the best players really to be on form really and showing up for the Lions. I mean, it is once in a 12-year cycle really for the South Africans as well. So they want to show what they've got. But one of the more exciting things is Nicolas Janzi van Rensburg from Montpellier. He's been brilliant as well in the Challenge Cup. So really looking forward to seeing if he gets into the test squad. He's been really, really good this year, and I think he fully deserves to be called up for the South Africans. I mean, they're not short of good second rows really. I mean, let's face it, they're outsourcing their second rows to other teams in Europe. Like you've got the 2 second rows in France in Valemsa, and what's the other fella's name now? I don't know, but he's South African anyways. But you've got Quinn Rue as well of Ireland as well, South African. So they're really outsourcing their South Africans at the moment. But anyways, the loose forwards, you've got. They're going to be strong over the ball, aren't they? Let's face it. Look where you've got the 2 Dutoy brothers from Sale, Dan and John Luke. Sia Khaleesi will be there as well. Peter Steph Dutoy. Now they put him down as a back rower. I think he's more of a second rower. He's kind of like he's kind of like 1 foot in each camp really, but he is superb anyways. He puts his tackles in, so he's no complaints there. But Dwayne Vermeulen, he picked up an injury. I think he picked up an injury on Friday night playing for the Bulls in one of the Rainbow Cup games. It'd be a massive shame if he does miss the tour, because he was like a talisman in the World Cup for South Africa. Really got him on the go forward as well. Really solid at the base of the scrum. He carries well, he tackles well, he's there when you need him to be. He is one of their talisman really, and if he does miss out, then that can only benefit the Lions. But saying that, they've just called up Jasper Visa from Leicester Tigers, who's been in outstanding form over the last couple of weeks. So he's been brilliant all season, saying that. So hopefully he gets to look in with the Lions as well. But like I say, the majority of them will play the Lions, whether it's for the A team or whether it's for the South African proper as well. Scrum halves, really just you've got Faf, which is he's him and Dupont are probably the best players in the world at the moment, both 9s. They're so influential for all their teams, whether it's Sale, Toulouse, France, Springboks. Pretty much he was on form in the World Cup and it all ran off him. He's absolutely amazing. Whether it's defence, shooting out of defence, cutting off the outside pass, or whether it's just being there, turning ball over and slinging that ball wide, and as soon as you've got a disorganised defence, he's there. I would probably say out of the 4 scrum halves, Cobus Reinach is the understudy to him. I mean, I know he's not the youngest guy in the world, but he was there in the World Cup. He scored quite a few tries. So he's a World Cup winner. He's played well with Montpellier as well in the European Championships as well this year. So he's everyone knows what he can do. He was at Northampton for quite a few years too. So they're pretty sorted for scrum half. Touchwood, Faf doesn't get injured in the next couple of weeks, and they should be fine. But I think the pivot really, that's the fly half position is, I would say, that and scrum half. If Faf was to get injured, that would take away, I would say, 5% of the box straight away. He is that influential on the team. I don't think after what I've seen Herschel Yankees. I think he's played against Wales before in the past, and he really wasn't. He was okay, but he wasn't. He's not Faf de Klerk. Reinach is good, but again, he's no Faf de Klerk. He would rely on a good 10 outside him, and the 10 saying that Andre Pollard, if he's getting minutes under his belt, because he has had another injury setback this year, if he's getting minutes under his belt, then the Lions can watch out, because. Looking at it from a Welsh point of view, he kicked us to death in 2015, and he kicked us to death in 2019 as well. So he is influential for them as well. They've called up 37-year-old Mornay Steyn, which is fantastic for Mornay Steyn. On the high veld, he's got a massive boot. He's kicking outside half, and he's going to put the box forwards where they need to be as well. If they're going to get some ascendancy as well up front, so he's going to put them in the positions they want to be in. I really hope for the box sake that they don't have to resort to Elton Yankees, because he is, as far as I'm concerned, I've always said to whoever I've talked to when he's played for Wales, I've just said, yeah, we're going to win that one, no problem. If he's playing, we'll win that. He is, I don't know how he's got so many caps as a Test 10. I mean, he's a good player domestically when he's played in South Africa. I've never seen him actually, do it at the top level against a good side. It just baffles me really how he keeps on getting selected. I mean, surely there's better 10s in South Africa. I mean, I've seen better 10s at the under 20s World Cups, and he keeps getting selected. I don't know why, but hey ho, if the Lions play, if the Lions play the Box 3 test with him at 10, I can, well, we probably win it 2-1 or 3-0. But, anyways, midfielders, Lacaniuam, brilliant. Dialende, superb. He's their best centre. And then you've got Jesse Creel. You've got an uncapped centre from the Emirates Lions. I haven't seen too much of this centre, so I couldn't really comment to see what type of player he is. But Franz Stein, we know Franz Stein again. He's continuing the trend of people who've kicked Wales to death in World Cups. 2011 he won the game for them against Wales as well. So he's there. He's an old guard. 2007 World Cup winner as well. So he's going to be there. There's quite a lot of experience in the squad, so he'll add to that as well. And then the outside backs, then you've got Afieli Fassi. I haven't seen too much of him from the Sharks, unfortunately. Cheslin Colby, superb. Willie LaRue, brilliant, but put him under the high ball and we'll see. Mazzoli Mapimpi, he was brilliant in the World Cup, absolutely superb, really strong runner, quick as anything. But positionally, I'd love to see. I think when I rewatched the Wales game against him in the semi-final, we did have a bit of joy against him on that wing and Colby, and I think that, like I said in the previous video, if we put in the ball high in the air and we nullify in that sort of rush defence, we're nullifying the big hitters in the South African back five of the forwards, so they're not stopping us behind the gain line or on the gain line. Then if we put the ball in the air and we've got good catching wingers like Anthony Watson, Josh Adams, Rhys Zammit, even Dwayne van der Merwe, then I really think that's where we can have some joy. You literally it is one of the simplest things in rugby we want to have a look at, is get these big guys to turn around, get them disorganised in defence, and then play off that, because I think that's where we're going to really have some joy against them anyways. And then you're looking then, so Mazzoli Mapimpi, and then you've got a couple of uncapped boys there. So and Damian Valimpsa in the Stormers, I've seen him a couple of times play for South Africa. He was good. And Subu Nkosi as well is back in there as well, which is good. I think he served his ban as well. So brilliant. At least he's done his time. So no problem there at all. So that is the South African squad for the World Cup then, but the South African squad for the British and Irish Lions tour. Decent, pretty good. Outside backs, I can't comment too much. They seem to be coming from South African domestic rugby a lot more than what we are seeing in Europe anyways. But forward pack, absolutely massive, really dynamic as well. So they're going to have really two players in every position which are going to be equally as destructive, equally as dynamic. So the Lions better watch out, and it wouldn't surprise me looking at that like what they did in the World Cup, that the new coach actually goes for a 6-2 split on the bench again, like he did in the World Cup, and tries to batter the Lions. It would all depend on the first test. If they do a 6-2 split and they get the upper hand and they absolutely batter the Lions, then they're going to continue with that type of tactic going through the rest of the series. But if for instance the Lions actually do manage to get ahead and start and win the first test 1-0, also depending on the manner of the win as well, if they front up, we don't have any injuries, an awful lot anyways, then they may actually choose to look at go for a traditional 5-3 split rather than 6-2, but on the bench. So we'll see anyways. But just to get back to some more Lions news anyways, and just to recap, so we've got less than 3 weeks, so 20 days until the first game against Japan in Murrayfield, which is really exciting. They're going to be in camp in 10 days time, so the players that are not involved in domestic finals, domestic semi-finals and playoffs will be with the Lions squad in Jersey, preparing for the Japan game, which will probably be mainly the Scottish and Welsh boys, because there's nothing to play for really. They'd never put themselves in the positions really to compete for finals, unfortunately, but there you are. So the 26th of June is the Japan game at Murrayfield in Edinburgh. Lions news though, so big news for the Lions is that unfortunately Andrew Porter's had to withdraw from the squad on Friday. He broke his big toe playing for Leinster against Glasgow, and that's ruled him out of the tour, which is an absolute it's a massive shame. It's devastating for him, but one of the guys I was certain was going to go on tour anyway, which was Kyle Sinclair's been called up. I'm really glad he did a really emotional interview after I think it was the day or the weekend of when they named the squad. He played for Bristol, got man of the match. He made a really, really compelling, emotional interview on BT Sport as well, and I think that type of response and his attitude really says a lot about him, and I think that he's a really good character to have. He did a job for Gatland as well, which I was really surprised that he didn't pick him in the first squad. He's got credit in the bank. He played the Test series against the All Blacks last time. He played well. I think he's been asked to be playing a different type of way by Eddie Jones with England, but I think that he is still a fantastic player, and he'll do the job for the Lions. This may well be the boulder to come into the starting Test team. So as much as Andrew Porter was more than likely to be involved with the squad on the Test squad because of his versatility to play tight head and loose head, I think Sinclair, a couple of good performances, that drive to come into the squad, I think he'll do a job, and he may even start, and I wouldn't put it past him because he's done it before. So we've seen this before as well in previous tours, where players like in 2005, Ryan Jones, who would go on to be Welsh captain, wasn't selected for the original touring squad in New Zealand. There was a few injuries, namely Dalalio was injured, so he came out, played very well considering how poor the Lions were in the Tests as well. And made an impact in a really poor tour and a really poor side, in all honesty. So it has been known. So hopefully he can make a big stamp on that. Now, I watched the game this weekend, earlier on today. So it was Northampton versus Exeter, which was a fantastic game in the Premiership. But I'm really worried. There was a lot of Lions on display. So for Northampton, you had Dan Biggar and Courtney Laws. Biggar went off, injured by the looks of things. Don't really know what it was about. He's only recently returned from a concussion, so hopefully he did take a couple of bangs to the head as well. So hopefully it's not another concussion, but we will see. One of the more worrying things was I think Johnny Hill was really poor today. Actually, he was way too upright in his carrying. He was getting smashed on the gain line by Northampton's even though Northampton had 14 men, he was getting smashed on the gain line by Northampton's tacklers. Way too upright, didn't really carry with any ballast today, so he's got some form to play himself into. But what was more sort of worrying was that I know that Luke Cowan-Dickey's had some knee problems before, and he came off, and he was immediately in like a knee brace as he came off. So I don't know whether that was precautionary or what, but it may just be something that he always does as he comes off, just to set that knee inflammation on the joint. We just don't know, but it didn't look good when they panned over. But the more worrying thing was seeing Sam Simmons. I think he rolled his ankle, or he took a lot of weight on his ankle being tackled. He has had a little bit of sort of problems with his ankle this season, but he's not the type of player that would actually say, right, okay, so that, I don't want to come back, I don't want to play a final, I don't want to play anything for Exeter, I just want to go with the Lions. He's not that type of player, so he will probably invite himself into, if he's not fully fit, he may invite more problems onto himself, but he knows his own body, so hopefully with the medical staff can get him fit, and the Lions don't have any more dropouts before the first game. So, that is part of it. It's a shame for people like Andrew Porter, because they've done, they've had that initial joy of their family and friends, and really congratulating them and saying what a good job they did over the last few years to play themselves onto the tour. And then, I mean, for me, it's a meaningless game. This Rainbow Cup is just absolutely meaningless. I mean, I know the boys have got to have a bit of rugby going into it, but I know the calendar's been disrupted with COVID, but I just can't see what I can't see what the I mean, surely the intensity that they were going to be going into the Lions 10-day camp prior would get them up to speed anyway. I mean, they're top level athletes. They're not going to allow themselves to drop off 15 to 20% from what they usually are in a couple of weeks from the end of the season to the training camp. But you know, I've seen a lot of the Welsh sides been pulling out some of their players, like on Friday night. Ospreys pulled out Alan Wynne-Jones and Justin Tipuric. Leinster have got probably 3 or 4 props that they could cover that anyway. I mean, they cherry pick the best players in Ireland anyways. So I couldn't understand. I mean, this has happened now. So, but look, I mean, the players choose to take the field themselves as well. So I suppose, you know, it is up to them. But it's just a massive shame. So, anyways, just to recap then. So, South Africa, really good, strong squad. Well done to everybody selected. They will be, I think, on tenterhooks way more for a couple of key players. I think if Faf and if Sale do actually get into the playoffs or into the final for the Gallagher Premiership, they will be playing, and they will be sat on the edge of their seats hoping that they come off unscathed. I think if Faf, the 9, and if Andre Pollard don't make it, or in any way are carrying knocks and are below their form, the Lions probability of winning the Test series goes up a notch again. Just because those two players are so influential for them. Faf sets the tempo and the defensive blitz. Pollard is the kicking maestro, you know, and he just sets the tempo for the backline. He unleashes these massive centres. They've got a lot of depth in the forwards. I don't know so much about the backs. They're strong at the centres, but like I say, the back three, I just think that's an area that the Lions are way stronger than South Africa in. But you know, 50-50 as it stands at the moment. We'll just wait and see. And and just to recap as well, so Sinclair in, Porter out, wait and see on Bigger, Sam Simmons, Cowan Dickey's injuries. Touchwood, hopefully they're not too bad. And if there's any more updates between now and then, obviously I'm going to do another Lions video. But I really appreciate your time. If you like the video, subscribe if you're not, and if you can come back, there'll be a lot more Lions videos before the first game, and then also every weekend, every game that they play, I'll be reviewing that game as well. I won't do any watch alongs just because I haven't got the license for it, but I'll be doing